Are these desserts who they say they are?
Or are they pies in disguise?
With eyes! Hang on for the loop!
4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
I'm Ricky, and you should not spin in your chair!
I'm Jamie, and you should sit still.
Oof. Do your words and actions ever get a little dizzy?
It can be confusing to people whenever we say one thing, but we do another.
Like if your friend told you should never, ever spy on birds, but you saw them bird watching on the weekend. That'd be confusing.
That's super specific.
And if your friend told you, like, Ricky, give the birds some privacy. Yeah, it'd be weird.
That would be weird.
But you saw them clearly with binoculars, a bird guide in hand, just watching birds fly about the air.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Go yeah, maybe this will help. Show them the pictures! Care to explain yourself?
Okay, you caught me. I spend most of my weekends bird watching.
But when I told you I wanted to get into bird watching, you told me not to.
Okay, so my bird words didn't match my bird actions.
Yeah, your bird words were absurd.
For sure, the lines were blurred. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait. Can we go back to that photo? Yeah, zoom in, enhance.
That's not a bird, that's a Quizman!
Smell that? It's time for the quiz thing. Whoo, boy, I am ripe. Could be because quizzes always make me a little nervous. My armpits are sweating. Let's talk about body odor. Fun fact, the last time we cleaned this jacket was in 1985, before most of you were born. It smells like a microwave cooked in goat hair. It's a musty smell like old cheese in a small closet. I stink, you stink, we all stink. Why do our armpits make stink juice? Why do these armpits make stink juice? Well, it starts with our sweat glands. Our bodies are covered in them, and we need them to cool down. True or false? Sweat is typically odorless. Is that true or false? Sweat is typically odorless. That's true. If it's not sweat stinking it up, then what is it? We don't just have glands, we got bacteria. When the bacteria that lives on your body starts breaking down your sweat, that's what gives off an odor. So if you start to smell odorant like an onion farted, here's my advice to you. Deodorant. See where we got that word? We're deodorizing that pesky bacteria. Ah, it burns. Is it supposed to burn? Oof. Which one of these was the name of the first marketed deodorant? Is it A, Tom's, B, Slick, C, Ban, or D, Mum? If you said C, you're close, but Ban wasn't first. It's actually D. Released in 1888, Mum was paste that you put on your underarms. And shortly after that came Everdry, which was a solution that you applied with a cotton swab. It had that added bonus of stinging and eating through your clothes. So that's really fun. My shirt is ruined and my armpits are on fire, but I don't stink so much, so thanks, Everdry. Here's some free Quizman advice. Smearing some deodorant on after your daily shower or bath keeps you smelling fresh. There's a lot of different styles and scents. Find the one that's best for you. Now, what if I stood here and I told you to wear deodorant, but I didn't follow my own advice? Like I never wore deodorant of any kind, just let my bacteria run wild. What word would describe me? Is it A, irritated, B, hypocritical, C, fortuitous, or D, dependable? If you said A, haha, joke's on you, I'm always irritated. In this case, it's B. Hypocrites are people who say they believe something and then they don't follow through with their actions. How does this relate to us as followers of Jesus? Well, it's confusing when people act one way inside and then a different way outside. And over the years, that's been one of the major criticisms of the church. People see how we act and they say, you know what stinks? When those churchy types don't act like Jesus. They tell me not to judge and then they judge others. They say everyone's invited and then they push others out. They say they're loving, but they don't look very loving. And it's true. We say we're good little steeple people, but sometimes we can be pretty hypocritical. None of this sounds at all like what Jesus wants the church to be. In Matthew 23, Jesus told people who act hypocritical that they were like pretenders who shut the door of the kingdom of heaven in people's faces. Yikes. That's not good. Shutting the door in someone's face, nobody likes a door being shut in their face. Do your words match your actions? Are you smelling what you're selling? Catching a whiff of my drift? In the book of James, we're reminded, but don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you're only fooling yourselves. In other words, if we listen to Jesus and we tell people to listen to Jesus, but we don't look like Jesus, we're being foolish. It stinks up the room. It leaves a bad impression of the church. It burns and ruins our reputation. Hey, listen, we're not perfect. We'll never be perfect. We'll still make mistakes and we'll still need grace. But we can make a difference. As members of the body of Christ, we can show the world following Jesus is worth it. We can show it. It takes so much more than empty words to share the hope of Jesus. So don't just hear the word, live it, be it, show it, take it portable. To a funky, broken world, what a breath of fresh air you can be. I'm the Quizman. Goodbye. Oh, I need to reapply.
Oh, what do we have here?
We got the cutest little lineup of cupcakes that you ever did see.
Pop quiz, Pop-Tarts.
Oh, no.
Oh, look at these sweet little cupcakes.
Yeah?
True or false? These cupcakes are as sweet as they say they are.
True.
That is false.
Oh.
Some of these cupcakes are not sweet at all. For example, when all of these cupcakes, when we talked to them, we asked them if they thought that gossiping was wrong, and each and every one of these sweet little cupcakes said, oh yeah, gossiping is wrong. But as soon as I left the room, some of them started loudly talking about me behind my back. They started making fun of my lack of icing, and they said I was losing my hair.
No.
That cuts deep. Not sweet at all, cupcakes. Not sweet at all. So, let's all of us together find out which ones are sweet and which ones aren't.
Okay.
Everybody choose a cupcake and let's see if we can find the hypocritical desserts.
Okay. Oh no. Oh my.
Look, they look sweet, don't they?
This
do.
this feels very heavy.
You guys ready to see if these desserts are hypocritical?
Yes.
Some of them are sweet. You might get a sweet one. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Ow! No!
Did we all get a not sweet one?
Yeah, I think so. Mine's mustard,
Yeah,
I
there's
think.
definitely mustard in this cupcake.
Ew! Oh, that's really not delightful.
That's a bad cupcake.
We all found mustard in our cupcake, which means that these two cupcakes did not have mustard in them.
You're kidding.
But all three of these are full of mustard. I kind of like it.
Oh, of course you do.
Should we bring on round 2?
What?
We all had a mustard cupcake.
Yes.
We got rid of them. Round 2, we've got these sweet little popsicles. Once again, every one of these innocent-looking popsicles told us they were sweet as sugar. That's what they said. Even when I didn't ask, they wanted me to know that all they care about is the environment. They really do. Each and every one of them, they said, I care about the environment. They said they take good care of the space around them. But after the interview, they left behind so much litter. There was so much litter left behind after these popsicles were interviewed. It was mostly plastic straws, and we're pretty sure that 1 or 2 of them dumped a bunch of motor oil down each and every one of our sinks. It was a real mess.
Oh no.
Everybody,
I feel like I want you guys to choose first.
grab a popsicle. Our track record is really good so far. Oh boy. All right.
They all look disguised pretty well.
I mean, they all look the same. They all look very sweet. Let's see if they're all sweet. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
It's not. Oh my gosh, what is that? Oh my gosh, what is that?
I think I got a sweet one.
Oh my gosh, that is not sweet. That is so sour.
And
my
it's
gosh.
vinegar. It's straight vinegar.
Vinegar?
Yeah.
Wow.
And yours is what?
Okay, I haven't taken a bite yet, so I'll take a bite.
Mine tastes like cherry.
Okay. These desserts are very hypocritical. I
Yes.
thought this was gonna be sweet. How do you guys get out of here?
This is what it means to be a follower of Jesus. To not just settle for believing that Jesus is God, but to do the work of following him and living the life that he has called us to. Because we have been given a message of hope for a hurting world. That message is the gospel. It's the message that the coming reign of God has broken into history through the person of Jesus and the church that he established. I think it's time for us to find our way again, to live as if we really believe what we say is true, to reject the temptations of cheap grace, and to step into the calling we've been given to represent Jesus well to the world. In John chapter 13, verses 34 and 35, John, writing the words of Jesus, has Jesus telling us this, that, hey, a new command I give to you, to love one another. In the same way that I have loved you, so you are to love one another. Then the world will know that you are my disciples. What Jesus is telling us is that the world will know who he is by the way that we love. This is the calling that we've been given as the church, to show the world that the God we say we believe in is really God. You see, the calling that we've been given as Christians is to represent God to the world. And the best way that we can do that is by living as if what we say we believe was actually true, by loving others the same way that God, through Christ, has loved us.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm wary of these desserts. I don't trust them. I don't know. We asked them if they were sweet, and they were all like, yeah. They loudly said, yeah, we're super sweet. And then we asked them if they loved keeping people safe, and they were like, of course we do. We're pies. We love keeping people safe. But then we heard a noise in the parking lot, and we saw some of these pies, not all of them, but some of these pies were tearing around the parking lot doing stunts and texting while driving. That's not safe or sweet. It isn't at all. That's super dangerous. Some of these pies are not so sweet, so we gotta figure out which ones are. All right, I'll go
This
right
one.
back here. Okay, okay,
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Oh no, I see red. That should not be in a pie. Oh, wait a second. Actually. Oh no, mm-mm.
No, these are tomatoes. What did you get in yours?
I think I got cherries.
Of course I did.
Good job, Ricky.
Thank you.
You found one of the sweet pies. These desserts were so hypocritical. Every last one of them. It's weird to have a pizza taste in my mouth.
Yes. It
and
tastes
whipped
like
cream.
pizza.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe the graham cracker crust would have helped.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Get a
think
little bit of
more.
that?
I don't
Yeah.
think more of it's gonna make it better.
There's
the
a
graham
chunk
cracker
of, it leaked on
Got
me.
a little
Oh.
bit.
I thought it was ketchup. I mean, it
it
makes
essentially
sense.
is
Right.
tomatoes.
Once you chew it, it is.
I think we've learned here today to practice what you preach.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not actually a pie, don't pretend to be a pie.
I got weird burps.
Have you ever broken a promise or thought about going back on your word, even unintentionally? Or has anyone ever broken a promise they made to you? I'm sure we can all fall somewhere in those 3 categories. A few years ago, I was babysitting for a mentor of mine, and I was putting her kids to bed. One of them was 3 years old, and the other one was a baby. Now, I made the 3-year-old a promise, and I said, okay, if you promise not to get up while I put your sister to bed, I will read you a book, and I will give you a kiss on the forehead before I say goodnight. And he said, okay. So while I was putting down his sister, she ate her food, she went straight to sleep, and I was so relieved that I got her to bed that when I tiptoed out of the room, I forgot about reading him a book. So he said, wait, my, you said you're gonna read me a book, and you promised you're gonna give me a kiss. And I said, oh my goodness, I am so sorry, I forgot. Do you forgive me? I'll go get a book now. After I read him a book and gave him a kiss on the forehead, he went straight to sleep. But it had me thinking, people notice when we don't follow through on our promises. Even a 3-year-old. Makes us think about the way that we're perceived in the world as Christians. When we say we're going to do things, when we say we're going to be people who bring healing and restoration, the world notices when we don't act that way. Right now in our world, there's lots of people who claim to be good, who claim to do the right thing, but they're not following through. Their actions don't match up with what Jesus says. And if we can't keep our promises and live in line with how we claim we're going to be, how are we any different from the rest of the world? If we're breaking our promises and living counter to our words, what will people think about Jesus? And what will people think about our faith? When Jesus first began his ministry, he quoted the prophet Isaiah, and he said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He sent me to proclaim liberty to the captives and recovering of sight to those who are blind, to set at liberty those who are oppressed and proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." Jesus followed through. He healed the sick, he fed the needy and the poor, he comforted the widow, and he broke barriers by loving people who society said that he shouldn't. He lived and acted according to how he said that he would. And he calls us to live like him. When we call ourselves Christians, we're taking up the promise of loving our neighbor, to be lights in the darkness, and to bring restoration to a world that's broken. I know, that sounds like a really big task. But do you want to know how Jesus did it? He loved the people around him, and he followed through on his word. Now, we can never be Jesus, and we can never be perfect. But what we can do is we can be sincere, and we can be honest. We can love our neighbors, and we can follow through on our word.
But don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you're only fooling yourselves.
This cherry pie is very sweet. This is a good dessert. Here's some words that match my actions. I'll eat anything.
Jesus had harsh words for people who say one thing but do the opposite.
He knew that we were the portable church.
He knew that the world would be watching.
Our lives can demonstrate how real God's love is.
So let's do it.
Enough empty talk.
Let's really love people.
The world will know who he is by the way that we love.
All together now.
Enjoy the ride!
Oh, Quizman, you smell delightful.
Thank you. I make my own deodorant.
If you like this challenge, we also did another challenge where we had to try to not judge a book by its cover. It was very difficult.
Yes, it was really, really fun too, though. Very creative. And then there was this dessert. Now, was it good or was it bad? You're gonna have to watch.
You know what this pie needs? Meat.